在这边真的要谢谢全世界的影迷支持我、纵容我，而对我不离不弃。我从你们的信或者你们喜欢不喜欢我的网络上，我真的学会很多很多东西，拍了一些现在全世界人都喜欢看的电影。谢谢，我是陈龙。
Test. Thank you. Who thought that was pretty cool? Jeffrey is a master, and we're so pleased to have him here today with us to lead our focus panel discussion. This is actually an initiative that Jackie has started in China. I was lucky enough to be out there with him last year. And he is hosting these different dialogues about the environment. So we're really grateful today to be joined by all of you so we can continue this dialogue in our state of Utah and then hopefully in the United States as well. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mario Capecchi, who's been our senior advisor for many years. He's an inspiration to all of us at the museum, and he will be moderating the panel for us today. Thanks, Mario.
As you've already heard, Leonardo has assembled a panel of people, very diverse and very different approaches to sustainability of our fragile planet. And I think I'll let them speak for themselves. I'll simply reiterate that global warming is real. It's caused by man. And the science behind that statement is now cannot be disputed. I think what we have to do is, since we caused it, we have to solve it. We have to use our ingenuity to curb this problem. We've already seen the devastation that has occurred, floods, unprecedented wildfires, forest fires all over the country, and this will continue and increase. And the further we wait, the more devastating the cost will be, both to humans as well as the world economy. It's a world problem. We all have to participate. All of us, everyone in the audience, as well as all of ourselves. And we have to take the problem seriously, or else other problems will not be worthwhile pursuing. It is a major world problem. And we owe it essentially to future generations. So I think we'll have the panel assemble, come together. I'll list their names, but then also have them introduce themselves, give a very short presentation, only a couple of minutes, and then we'll open it up to questions from the audience. And I think what we want to remember is, what's our approach? What innovative approaches can we come up with that will make a significant impact at all levels? And that will be the spirit of the discussion. I think on the whole we should be optimistic rather than pessimistic, because pessimism never gets you anywhere. It's the will to do something about it, and then doing something about it that gets you results. Thank you. The first person that will contribute will be Jackie Chen himself.
Obviously not Jackie Chan. In any way, shape, or form. He's actually in the back recycling some bottles. So in the meantime, we're going to get our other panelists on stage here, and he will join us in just a second. So coming out, panelists.
So, backwards. So we have, first of all, Shane Pena, Dr. Andrew Pope. No, he's way over here. Right. Julie. Julie's very out there. Easy to find. We have a woman representative. That's always good. They should be representing us all the time. David Bywater. Here. Good. And Andy Northrop right here. And then Jackie will be here when he's ready. And here he is. You will see, once after this, you can also go around, you can see the display itself. It's absolutely incredible. And it's wonderful to have someone as of stature supporting the environmental movement. Thank you.
Who started? Me? Me start first? Okay, I just say a lot of things. I hope you understand my English. And I try to do so many things, but Jackie Chan is just one person. So all those years, I'm very lucky. I see so many people. There's so many people helping me even now. American, the fans, they help me travel some other place. Use Jackie Chan Foundation to do a lot of charity. In Europe, my fans travel in Africa to do a lot of things. And myself, sometimes, I do a lot of things you probably, you don't believe it. Did you really do that? And somehow, sometimes, like, when I travel, if right now you go to my hotel, you see my soap. I've been using 8 months. My sleep, I travel with my slipper. Travel like several countries until I see the slipper broken. Then I change one. Because all those years I stay in the hotel, I always think, 1 day, 2 days, I see my colleague, they open the soap. I said, what happened when we check out? Where the soap goes? So at that time, all my colleagues, everybody, we just use one soap. And finish, we go to the hotel, we take the hotel soap away, I put my own soap. It's so easy, the small detail, you can save a lot of things. Let's one example. I have about 100 stunt team. When we filming, maybe when we're filming and some other things, when I go to bathroom, I will tell who's next. Until one by one, maybe 8 stunt guy, 10 stunt guy, then we flash. Sometimes you can I don't say you can secretly, especially the media, you can secretly travel in Asia. Ask my friend, all my friends, they know, even the big star, big director. Right now they make fun of me if we're on the film festival or big event. When I sitting there, they go to the bathroom, who's next? Who's next? But we do really goes the one fresh, of course not the girl, not this, yeah. And like I use a lot of, whatever I can do, I put in the movie. Like, okay, like Karate Kid, I tell Jaden Smith, switch, turn off, turn on, the water, turn on, take off. And I try to, through my movie, to teach the children, to teach the people, to save the world, because the world give us so much. How can we give back to the world? And like, there's so many movies. If you can see in the movie, I have so many messages through my movie. Not the old days like a drunken master. You fight, you drink, you fight. Then after I find out, when I'm growing up, I find out wrong message. Why I'm teaching people drinking and fighting. So I immediately make drunken master too. Don't drink, don't fight. Because I know there's so many children learn from me. So very important through my movie, to my 行動啊, how I act, how I talk. And there's so many children learn from me. I have to be very careful to do so many things. And there's when I travel around, see the old house, they're like 400 years old, 200 years old. I see they all broken. What can we do? Tell the government I buy it. After I buy it for 20 years, replace. I have to hire all the carpenter to step by step to fix the house. And later on, 10 years later, 6 years later, they'll build up. Wow, so beautiful. What can I do? I don't know what I'm doing. So I donate the house for the Singapore University. That right now they're becoming art piece in the garden. I have so many camera equipment. Today, the camera equipment, the old day, useless. Right now, we don't use film anymore. We don't use whatever. The lighting. The lighting now, they're so thin. The old day, the lighting is so big. Then what can I do? I just put in my loft so many years. Later on, I'm lucky that I met so many artists. I said, can you do something? Now becoming a table, becoming a art piece. Somebody want to buy it, and all money comes and go to donation to some other the people. And I try to do the best I can. And sometimes I don't want to force people. You have to do that, you have to do that. And you know what, at the end it's negative. No, I don't want to do that. So this is why I to the film, to my documentary, to the people I know, the friends around me, that do just slowly, just 用我自己嘅身體力行點講 ？Yeah, use my own influence to teach people. Especially sometimes when you think I'm joking. In the public toilet, I go in, of course everybody know I have to hide like this. Then I go in, then I go to pee. Sometimes I turn around, I see people. They take the paper. Then throw it away. Then take another paper. Then open the door. After open the door, they let go. They walk away. Then I see there's so many paper. I use the paper. I grab all the paper, in the men's toilet, right? Then I put down, I wash, I clean. I clean the whole thing. I lift the paper, then I wash. I use one paper, clean it. I use that paper. Wrap that paper, put in the trash can. I use my leg because the paper was that full, and the people go in and drop down. Then I use my leg and step down, and coming back. Then I walk away. Believe it or not, that really me. I becoming sometimes my colleague. What Jackie doing in the bathroom? Never come out because I'm cleaning. I just use a useless paper to clean all the things. I really want to use one paper, you use everything. Sometimes I go to a bathroom with my friend, I use a paper like this. Sometimes I think I'm sick. So sometimes if you really know me, the people around me, Jackie, you are sick. And I'm a ACD, ODD, everything. And I hope today what I'm saying is a joke. Actually, it's not a joke because I hope everybody care about the world, care about yourself, care about your family. Whatever you do, your kid follow you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Shane McKenna, and I'm going to stand up because I've got injuries too. 10 years ago I was paralyzed, and I've done a lot of stunts too, Jackie. The difference between you and I is I didn't get paid for mine. So we've been asked to give a brief introduction about who we are and what we do. I'm an artist, an engineer, and an inventor, and for my environmental contribution to the world, I've worked in the waste stream industry, helping to design and implement equipment that helps us manage our waste stream better. I've been involved in electric vehicles. In fact, we're working on a project now about designing an electric vehicle around a new high-performance electric motor that's going to make electric vehicles more efficient. This summer, we're going to be installing a full-scale system up here in the mountains, up around Smith Morehouse, right on top of a mountain at 8,000 feet. We're going to install a full-scale system that uses biomass and passive solar energy to create clean drinking water. And we're going to demonstrate that. And after we demonstrate that that technology works, I'm going to open source it and give it away to the world, because we need clean water, and we need people smarter than me working on these kinds of technologies and helping to perfect them so that we can get that clean water. What I'm most proud of, though, is I am the inventor, founder, and CTO of a company called Ascending Harvest, and we have invented the world's first human-powered hydroponic gardens. And what our technology allows us to do is to provide these self-enclosed systems to people who are in refugee camps and third world situations, because these systems use very little water, the least amount of water of any kind of farming, and there's no electricity or fuel required to run these systems. And so it's a system that empowers people to make their, or to grow their own food. And the great environmental impact of that is that that food doesn't have to be transported. That food doesn't have to be packaged. There's no single-use packaging. There's no transportation. There's no energy aside from pumping that system full of air. It runs on air to operate that system. So, and it provides that food at a lower cost than the typical humanitarian ration delivery. So that's what I'm most excited about, and that's who I am. And I'm passionate about the environment, and so pleased to be on this panel with the rest of these distinguished guests.
So my name is Arden Pope. I'm a professor of economics at Brigham Young University. Appreciate the chance to be here. This is quite fun. And I don't have nearly as good a bathroom habits as you do. It's very clear. But I'm going to try to do better. Inspire me. I moved here. I grew up in the Intermountain West in Wyoming, Idaho, but it was at Texas A&M University, and came to BYU in 1984. And in 1984, there was a lot of controversy in Utah Valley about Geneva Steel. In fact, it shut down as a result of a labor dispute and then reopened. And the difference in air pollution was quite high from them being shut down versus open. It was an absolutely interesting natural experiment. And I had the research skills and the interest in these sort of things. I was teaching natural resource environmental economics. So I took that natural experiment and studied it. And it basically ruined the career of a good economist, because since that time I have been studying the health effects of air pollution with colleagues throughout the world. In fact, I spent quite a lot of time in China and northern India with colleagues there, trying to understand the impacts of air pollution. And I'm just simply going to say it's been a long road, and it's been a challenge. But we now basically know some things. We know that breathing, combustion-related fine particulate air pollution contributes to respiratory disease, it contributes to cardiovascular disease, and our most recent estimates now, when we look globally, we recognize that air pollution is about the 5th largest risk factor for global burden of disease. And so it's very, very much something that we need to worry about and understand. There'll be some talk about climate change and things as well. It turns out that our efforts to reduce greenhouse gases and deal with climate change has very immediate benefits too in terms of improved public health. So these are the sort of things I've been studying, and I enjoy it a lot, and I appreciate the invitation to serve on this panel.
Good morning, everybody. My path is not like any of these gentlemen. I'm born and raised here in Salt Lake City, so I am a native. I was never as smart in my life as I was when I was 17 years old. I knew what I wanted, where I was going, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be, till I started taking the classwork. I don't like this. Somebody asked me earlier, how did I get into this environmental business? It was a complete accident, really. I needed a job, I needed to pay the bills, I had kicked around, dropped out of college, kicked around for about 10 years trying to figure out what do I want to be when I grow up. And when I took this job with a little startup engineering firm in Salt Lake, We were at the very beginning, the cusp of the underground storage tank regulations, they only by a couple of months. And the industry was in total chaos, and I was in my element. Nobody knew what we were doing, how we were going to clean these things up, what were the rules we were supposed to follow. We had no idea. I fell in love with the work. I was back in school in 6 months, and 3 degrees later, and 20 years later, I own the company now. So. And we're not looking at our focus is on environmental due diligence, soil and groundwater investigations, and cleanups, and not so much in helping people not do bad things. I'm on the side where bad things already happen. Like, nothing finds bad stuff better than a track hoe. So if it's black, gooey, stinky, doesn't seem like it's supposed to be there, those are the kind of phone calls I get. And what we try to do is minimize finding those unexpectedly, right? We can fix just about everything. You want to put multifamily housing on top of an old dry cleaner site? We can do that. We just need the right information, the right technologies, the right mitigations, and move forward with good information. So trying to help make the world better, just one little cleanup at a time.
It's a pleasure to be on stage with you. I've been a big fan for a long time. I haven't seen all 200 films, but I've seen at least 50 of your films. I got to be a long binge weekend, doing the other 150 in the weekend. I'm David Bywater. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for a company called Vivint Solar. Vivint Solar is headquartered here in Utah. We're one of the largest residential solar installers in the country. We operate in 22 states. We have about 4,000 employees. We're a public company on the New York Stock Exchange. We consider Utah our home. We're very proud to be here. We're very passionate about what we do, and that's bringing clean energy to the homes of America. We've done about 1 gigawatt of installed solar now. That's the fastest anyone's done in this country in the residential space. It's faster than what Tesla did. We did it in 7 years, it took them 10 years. So we're very proud of what we do and how we do it. It's interesting, when I was a kid, I lived in California, in Los Angeles. And I remember we had to move at age 8 years old. And the reason why we had to move, Jackie, is my mom, the health respiratory issues with her lungs. And we had to move, and so we moved to Utah, here, and we moved to Cache Valley. And we came to Cache Valley because it was known to have pristine air. So it's for my mom that we moved. It's interesting, last year, Utah, both Logan and Salt Lake were considered, I think, the 7th and 9th most polluted states in the United States. So I've seen that change. In 40 years, I've seen that change here in our backyard. And it's a real issue. And the reason why we're passionate and our employees are so passionate about what we do is that we really believe that we are helping each household change the way they embrace their impact on the environment. We go door by door, and every year we talk between 2 to 3 million people. And we help them understand that they can actually live differently. They can actually reduce their carbon footprint. They can actually go solar. As a result, they save money, but more importantly, they have a huge impact on the environment. And that is enormous. So we've found it literally is a conversation home by home, neighborhood by neighborhood, city by city, state by state. And so today, we think in the next 5 years, we will put on more solar on homes than we did the last 10 years. So it's really quite remarkable. There was a Pew research done a few years ago that said 9 out of 10 Americans favor more solar, and they're supportive of this. There was a similar poll done here in Utah that found the exact same results. And what is great about that is because we're trying to help everyone become an activist. And if we can do that, if we can change their mindset household by household, great things happen. And they become co-investors with us in bringing clean energy to where we live. And that's pretty powerful. And when they become co-investors, you can do other things. They're more likely to drive electric vehicles. They're more likely to recycle. They're more likely to do things in their home where they consume less energy. And so it's that mindset, house by house, heart by heart, mind by mind, wallet book by wallet book, where they invest and they change their behaviors. And so we believe in the future. You know, it's interesting. If you said today, I want to light this light, and I'm going to use well oil to do that, you would say, you're a fool. Well, that's what we did 100 years ago. Well, I believe in 20 years from now, people will say, how did you power your home? And they'll say, you did what? You dug something out of the ground and you burned it? What did you do? No, of course, solar is the way to go. It's just intuitive, it is logical, and it's where the heart of America is and where it's going and where the heart of the world is going. And so we're proud to be part of this, and we really, really appreciate you being a champion for this cause, so thank you.
Hi, my name is Andy Norda, and I am the founder and, well, co-founder and chairman of Holistic Research Education Foundation, which is involved in, basically we want homeostasis for all living beings, and that includes the living planet that we're on. And I also have the privilege of serving as one of 3 trustees for the Ray and Clyde Norda Foundation, and we look for societal homeostasis from that organization, with the belief that everybody needs hope, but there's no way you're going to hope for something that's not possible. So therefore, we do our best to create possibilities for education and proper health and some other things. But I'm so happy to be here, and thank you, Jackie, for doing what you do. Dr. Mario, I can't even believe I'm sitting here with you two, but also that it's distinguished panelists here. As a professional, I mean, I'm really only qualified to teach you how to hit the intricacies of a backhand slice in tennis. But as a human being, as somebody who really cares, I've taken it to heart, as well as those that I work with, to do whatever we can do to fix things up. There's so much to fix, and you know, there's a lesson I learned when my daughter was 5 years old, and I walked into the kitchen one day and there were sugar ants everywhere. I mean, I want to say thousands, but I think there was hundreds of millions of sugar ants. That's what it looked like at a Saturday morning at 7:30. And as my daughter's watching me walk around like this, like, what do I do? What do I do? You know, she watched me do this for a few minutes, and she goes, I know, sweep them out. I go, sweep them out? She goes, sweep them out. So it took me about 2 minutes to clear the whole kitchen, and then I could see where all those ants were coming in. But sweep them out was something that would have taken me an hour or so while I'm going around, oh, what do I do? And so at the fire conference held a few months ago in Park City, one of the scientists presenting said something just off the wall. He just said, you know, we really need to learn how to harvest and use and exploit the magic energy of children, ages 4 through 9, just unadulterated thinking. You know, my daughter walked in there, was like, what's my dad doing? and assessed the situation very quickly, came up with a simple truth, you know, sweep them out. And by the way, that should be a tagline for the 2020 election. Draining the swamp just takes too long. And then you can see where the bad actors are coming in, too. One more story about children. My son came to me one day and said, Dad, why do people get married? You just didn't see that one coming, you know? And so I said, you know, usually you like the same things, you enjoy each other's company, and it just seems right to be together. And he said, well, I think I want to marry Claire. It's a 5-year-old girl across the street. They've been playing together, and I said, oh, really? He goes, I go, why? He says, well, I like ice cream, and she likes ice cream. And I just thought, what a great point to start at in these political discussions, right, that we have, where nobody's getting anywhere, and we can just agree on one thing, just one thing. And then a bad actor will say, what flavor are you talking about? But we all like ice cream. And so that's a great point. The last thing I want to leave you with is, I asked my dad one time, Ray Norda, he was a great soldier, and I said, what's the most exciting time you've ever lived in? And he said, World War II. I said, that was exciting? He goes, the war was not exciting. He goes, what was exciting was that everybody realized we were facing the exact same threat. And it was a very real threat, And suddenly, we all had to get together and work together and do something about it, because our very survival was at stake. And he goes, it was exciting to see people work together like that. And so, what we face here is an imminent threat, but not so obvious. So the key thing is, Jackie, for you to keep doing what you're doing, and you know, nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd, right? And so let's get everybody on board. I'm so guilty of dumping, forget it, we all are. But there is something that we can do together, and it just takes a different psychology. And I appreciate everything you said so far. I can't wait to hear it. I'll be talking about that back end. It's nice.
I think what we've seen is a diversity of approaches, but all to a common aim. And the other thing that I think is important that Jackie has emphasized, teach by example, do it yourself, and others will follow. And particularly the next generation. If they see what if we're willing to do it, they will be excited about us. And with that, we'll open it up for questions. Please feel free to ask any kind of question. The crazier, the better. So don't be shy, and just put your hand up, and somebody will bring you a microphone. I can deliver. Question?
Catch?
Hi, Chris Newhart, Soul Central Magazine, TV, radio. This is to Jackie Chan and anyone else up there that I'd like to answer. I was just wondering, what are you most excited to see for the future in the next maybe 5 to 10 years?
The exciting things, and as I know, I see more country, more school, more students care about the environment. And even because myself, mostly time I watch a lot of documentary and National Geographic, and more talk about teach people how to be becoming, and there's more students, more 科学家 scientists to create the things how to help the world. Just like my partner, the scientist, he can use tennis shoes, bottom of the tennis shoes to make chair. Use the useless clothes becoming a sofa, and use a plastic bottle becoming a wall, panel, everything. In my company, mostly 80% is a 再做嘅。Reusable things in my office. Then sometimes I just invite my friend, come to my office. Sometimes you have to say, you have to do this, you have to do that. Come to my office to see it. And of course, if you do small things, very expensive. If everybody to do the same thing, the things coming very cheap. And that's I see the future. I believe even China right now, they 种树. They're planting the tree every day. Everybody care about the trees. Everybody care about the clean. Everybody, not like used to be, everybody don't care anything because we don't have food, we don't live around. But right now, when they have more education, more the media, more promote environment things. It's not like Black Pig getting divorced, Jackie Chan getting some other things, the gossip things. We don't care. We need media more promote the things let us know. Sometimes I do a lot of charity. It's from the news, from the media. Because when I sitting in China or in Hong Kong, I'm filming, I'm watching TV, or some where I need to help, then I will call. Can I donate some money? Can I do? It's not about I donate some money. It's not, I'm proud of anything. It's when I donate, I'm happy. When I see the people, when I do a charity, I always say to people, thank you so much, you make me happy. It's not I make you happy. That's how, when I walk on the street, I tell my colleague, give some money. No, they are fake. I said, because you have this kind of thought, you'll never do a charity. Even the fake, I'm happy. I don't know what he's thinking. I donate something, it makes me a whole day happy. I say it's a mental. So this is why it keeps me continue to do a lot of charity, continue. I know very hard to promote environment, to tell people do this, do that. So I will continue to do it, yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
My name is Brighton Myler with Ninja Kids TV, and I was wondering, Master Chan, if you like to drive electric cars and invest in electric airplanes.
Definitely, I'm like Segway. When before 2000, I see the Segway comes out. I spent 6 years to talk to the Segway guy, what's that called? Dean Cameron. I write a letter to Dean Cameron. I send him a video, what I'm doing all those years. Then 6 years later, I got the I got a dealer in Hong Kong, in China. Right now, I still have Go Green in Singapore. When you go to Singapore, go to beach side, you just rent the Segway to driving around in the island. So there's a, yes, definitely yes.
Thank you, everyone. I know the time is really short, and I regret that we don't have more time for all the other panelists as well. There's still very excited kids that are waiting to work with Jackie on a recycled, useful art project. So we have some presents though. I think that Jackie would like to hand to the other panelists, and then we'll take a quick photo. For the Leonardo, we are going to invite, we have asked our panelists if they would be willing to take Jackie's challenge to become green heroes. I'll just pause here for a moment.
This is my new book. Inside there's a lot of terrible story about me when I was young. Sometimes when I look back myself, I hate myself. But today, the Jackie Chan is a good Jackie Chan. The old days bad.
So if I could ask all of the panelists, and Jackie, if you would like to come back to our museum, if we could continue this dialogue. We really, at the Leonardo, believe it's a really important discussion to have. There's lots of different viewpoints. Our mission is to inspire creativity and innovation, and I think we heard a lot of creativity and innovation in the brief remarks we're actually about to get to today. So over the next 3 months, while Green Hero is at the museum, panelists, will you help us convene more discussion so we can dive actually a little bit deeper? Yes. We have a brief group photo, and then Jackie will be with the kids downstairs, and the exhibit will be open for any of the media to tour, any of the public and members. The exhibit officially opens on Saturday, so we hope we'll see you there. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Hello, would you like more global exposure for your music, stories, and projects? Well, welcome to Seoul Central Magazine and Seoul Central TV. We are a network that love to guarantee delivery, have a global proven track record, safe to use, Save you time. Up to date with new and latest trends. Global opportunity for you. Get results in a fast-paced industry. Free exposure for inspirational people, charity, and community project, and more. Very affordable advertising rate. Book your place now. Create history and be seen in a global network that puts the global community first.